This is going to be part one of a series of other videos. They get into more detail and instruction. This is more sort of an overview video to kind of give you an idea of what networking is in case you didn't. I think most people do these days, particularly if you're a small home or solopreneur business. You really understand the power and the necessity and the need for networking. Okay, so I don't have to sell you on the power of networking. Okay, so you don't need to take that guru seminar. You can save yourself a couple of grand. We're not going to do the power of networking video networking thing because you get it. All right, you get it. You're totally on board with me. When networking fails, and for small home and solopreneur businesses, it tends to fail a lot. When it fails, there are a number of reasons for it. And the number one reason is the business itself, the small home or solopreneur business, has not really explained or educated their networking partners on who their ideal customer is and why they are important, and how they as a business are the only solution for them. And that's a little dramatic terms, but you know where I'm going with this. If you've gotten this far in the videos, you know where I'm going with this. And there are a number of reasons, and that is the core reason, okay? And that reason will then play out through a number of behaviors, okay? So what happens is someone goes out to network, and this is going somewhere, trust me, and it gets into a broader area. I know I can ramble. Someone goes to a networking event, and they may have expectations, whether it's a group or it's an event. They go to a networking experience. And they may have this expectation in their head, which 9 times out of 10 they do, is that they will either walk out of the event with a ton of business, or joining the group will solve all the financial issues and the marketing issues that they're having. Like, that's all they need. It's possible. I've yet to meet anybody in all my years that has walked out of a networking event with a ton of business. There's always they've walked out, plenty of people, including myself, have walked out with, let's talk a little bit more about that project, because I think we're going to go with it, but let's talk more, a lot of empty promises. And so that's where networking fails, is people have this expectation. Now, they also have this expectation that networking and social media is sort of plug and play. All right, if I show up and and I'm not saying all business, I'm saying that there's a good portion of businesses that do this. My sparkling, charming personality will sell the business itself. Or I have such a great idea that I don't even really need to sell it, it sells itself. If that was the case, you wouldn't be there, it'd be selling itself somewhere. So let's just push that out the window. They haven't given the person that they're talking to in those situations anything to remember them by, okay? You're not talking to this person now. I mean, you are, but you need them tomorrow to remember who you are, and follow through with the business. Now, there are a number of factors that play out, especially at events. It's hard to hear, people may be drunk, people may be drunk at groups, who knows. You're asking them a lot, you're giving them a quick hi, love me, because you just met me, and they're supposed to carry that with them for the rest of their life, kind of thing. The onus is on you as a small home or solopreneur business to make the networking work. All right, you got to put in the time and the effort and the, I always say you got to do the reps to get the gym bot, right? You got to go to the gym to get the gym bot. And if you're not willing to put in the work, i.e. explain who your consumer is, what you offer them, why you offer it, and why you are the perfect solution for them, then you're just wasting your time and money. And that's where the second part of this comes in, and I'm going to talk specifically about groups. I got off the tangent there. Okay. All right, so we're going to talk about networking today, and networking is that kind of thing that plays. I know it's not there for. And it plays to our strengths. We like to build strong, solid relationships. All right, and so for those of you who are uninitiated, there are two types of networking. There are networking events, and there are networking groups. If you join a group, that doesn't mean if you join a group, that doesn't mean you can't go to an event. You can't, if you join a group, you can't join other groups. That's kind of a conflict of interest. Although people try it, people have tried it. I'm never surprised at what people do. So there are two different types. There's networking events and there's networking groups. And let's talk briefly about networking events. Networking events are bigger, once a month, maybe bi-monthly, annual kind of event, where you pay a fee to enter, and then you get to have it mingle in this room with a group of people. And there's a bigger video on networking events, and it has its pros and its cons. But most people, I would argue, go in with the idea that they're going to come out with a lot of business. At least that's been the impression of the people that I've talked to. You're not. You're just not gonna. That's not gonna happen. This isn't like shaking hands in the back smoky room full of cigars and brandy. This sales these days takes a lot. Like there's just nobody suddenly gonna cut a deal on the banquet floor at the local Radisson because they just met you and wow, you're an amazing person. That is not going to happen. And your challenge there, the challenge with networking events, and the purpose of this video is so that you can kind of understand which one works better for you. All right, and the challenge with networking events is it requires a lot of follow-up. Okay, a lot of follow-up. So again, you're talking to a person in an event where they have probably talked to 20 or 30 people, maybe. They may have had a few cocktails. It's loud, it's noisy. They can't necessarily hear you, vice versa. They may have misheard you, or something like that. You need to follow up. You need to put them into a traditional, typical sales funnel. You need to follow up with them. Again, it's going to be a number of contacts, and they now become your everyone. Okay, and if you know anything about with everyone, you know what I'm talking about. So you can't sell to everyone, which is why you do these things, because then you've got a limited. The person you might be following up with might be like a salesman or a rep for something, for a supply company that you need stuff from or something like that. It's a lot of work. It's just as much work as cold calling or all of those things. Networking events are really good for outgoing, gregarious people who have no problem making conversation with absolute strangers. Not this guy. I have gotten better over the years because I've had to, but it is not my strong point. It is not my strong point talking to strangers or making idle chit chat. I get very, and as soon as there's any sort of uncomfortable silence, I just like, but that's me, all right? And so I know that networking events are not the forum for me. I know that I'm not ready to put the time and the effort in to keeping up with these people, that I just met, kind of working them down the funnel. It's a more traditional sales route in my mind, okay? That may be what works for you. And if that works for you, that's awesome, then go for it. Conversely, there are networking groups, and networking groups, and again, there's more videos on this as well. They meet weekly, usually for breakfast or lunch. I always wanted to start a dinner group because I thought that would be a nicer, end of the day kind of thing, have a dinner with and talk business. Old school madman. They're formalized, they're very formalized, very structured. Now, the beauty of a networking group is that you can build those close relationships, those one-to-one relationships with the other members who then can act as your unpaid sales team, as they say, okay? Your unpaid sales and marketing team. And they most certainly can. And they really, there have been some people that have been really successful at networking groups, and there's a reason for that. They've educated their group, their chapter, on what they do. Now let me step back for a second. What are great about networking groups is there are multiple chapters of a single group. So most groups are national, and they have chapters in almost every city. Okay, and for some of them, the one of the ones I was involved in, it was a really great one. The last one, there's nothing wrong with saying the name. Team Referral Network. They were really great. I really liked Team. Team was one of my favorite. Out of all the networking groups, they were my favorite. And the reason for that is because not only did I pay to go, be part of the chapter and go weekly, they were pretty good on education. They were pretty good on connections. What I liked was that at least my chapter and my area, our area director, was really big on pushing people, because you get to visit other chapters. Go visit a chapter a different chapter every 6 months, and expand your reach. And she was really good about making sure that we got out there. The other thing was that they had a great thing on a message board where you could volunteer to be a sub. If you can't show up to your networking meeting, you have to get a sub. And team chapters, my chapter, when I ran it, I was very, very strict about making sure you had a sub, but you shouldn't have a sub too often because it's your business. You could sub at other chapters. And so again, depending on the chapter, you weren't always necessarily allowed to give your 30-second commercial, but you had an opportunity to talk to other people before and after the meeting, get their information, share information, expand your reach again. And so it was a really great way. Like, I felt like that was the first group that I was really plugged into the network, and I really saw the benefit of the network. And I like the fact that they kind of like really let my chapter really do what we thought was right for us. And they kind of gave us some leeway on that. So like I said, there are a number of them. There's 3 biggies. I've been on all of them, but Team so far has been my favorite. But again, with chapters, one of the big things is you got to show up, and people join. You have very limited marketing and sales money, and you're going to join a networking group, which is annual dues and monthly chapter dues. But you're not going to show up. You're just going to not show up for months at a time. When you do show up, you come in late, you leave early. When you get up for your 30-second commercial, all you kind of say is, hey, you know me, I'm the plumber, sit back down. And invariably, they were one of the 2 kind of people that would get really upset when they didn't get any business. I've been a member of this chapter, for 2 years, so I don't have any business. Well, that's because nobody knows who the hell you are. You never show up. I've been the chapter president for 6 months. I don't even know who you are. Okay, let's use that as our guidepost. So there's that. There's also the people, and we're networking really. And which kind of led me to sell the experiences, where networking fails people. When it fails for them, when they don't get the referrals that they want, and they don't get the business that they want, it's because they haven't explained what they do, how they do it, why they do it to the people, so that they can go out and preach the good word. All right. I always look at networking groups is, if it's going to be my unpaid sales and marketing team, then I need to treat them like I would my marketing and sales team. I need to educate them, okay? And I don't mean having, strict, okay, we're gonna have a talk all meeting process and things. I need to educate them on my products. I need to educate them on my services. I need to educate them on why I'm the right ideal person for this very specific consumer, so that they have the tools to keep an eye out for these people, to keep an eye out for these people that are looking for that experience, and to educate them about why they need to use me. Me just calling up and saying, hey, I've got this really great friend, I got this guy in my networking group, he's a great accountant, I hear, you should use him. That's not going to grow my business. But me going out and saying, hey, there's this guy in my accounting, you're having this problem, there's a guy in my chapter who's an accounting guy, his specialty is this, he has worked with customers just like you, he told me about this one, etc., etc. That is going to make somebody pick up the phone and call, right? Just saying like, hey, I got an auto mechanic in my networking group doesn't really instill the confidence that the person you're referring should have. So that's usually where it fails. That's the second problem with networking groups. If you're just looking to, hit it and quit it, so to speak, networking groups aren't for you. Networking groups are not for you. The people who are successful in networking groups show up every week. They are prepared. They change up their 30-second commercials on a regular basis. They understand that they are educating their consumer via you. They're seeing you as their sales team, and they are training you on what to say, how to say it. They're modeling behaviors. They're giving you scenarios so that you have all the tools in your arsenal to go out and sell the business. And again, if you are not ready to do the reps, you're not going to get the gym bod. If you are not ready to put in minimum amount of work to a networking group, you are not going to get the results that you want, And there were many times with networking groups where I would, when I was running the meeting, where the person would get up and be like, oh, I literally wrote this in the car. Like, okay. It's not instilling the confidence in me, in you, that I need to have to send a friend or family member to you. Okay. And that's the downside of networking groups. If you are looking to like put in the minimal amount of effort, and I mean this in no way, shape, or form to be offensive. But networking events are typically, at least the ones that I have attended, there is a good portion of people there just collecting business cards so that they can say that they've had leads for that month. It's kind of that, and again, I don't mean to be offending to used car salesmen, but it's that sort of like cheesy salesman, the leads are, coffee is for closers kind of guys. So it may not even go anywhere with a networking event, but that's what can happen is if that's your mentality, if you like to just go in and do the basic minimum, then networking events are for you. If you really feel like putting in, and you're a small home or solopreneur business, if I know you're all busy, I know we're all busy. Hey, I had, when I was president, I was running a business, I was trying to get, sell the experience and find your Betty off the ground, and I found the time. It was an hour out of my time, maybe 2 hours, because it was like 20 minutes to get there, 10 minutes to set up, 10 minutes to break down, 20 minutes back home to my house. If even 20 minutes, I think it was like 15. But I saw it as this is part of my day. This is part of my week. This is my marketing. What money I would have spent on postcards or paid advertising or whatever else it was, I didn't spend it. I spent it on the networking group, the networking chapter, because I felt that was where I was going to get the greatest return. So if those are the two different types of networking, and so you got to figure out what your strengths or weaknesses are. Again, if you join a networking group, that does not exclude you from going to networking events. As a matter of fact, you'll see a lot of people from other chapters. It's a great way to connect with people. There was something else I was going to say about networking events. I can't remember. But each of these, there's a whole section on networking events, conversation starters, there's networking groups, 30-second commercial presentations, power partners, all of that information as part of the supplemental and bonus content and topic content for the month. Other than that, I think that's it. If you have any questions on networking events, email me. The email will be in the body of the post. As always, you can find me on ehhoward.com 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We never close, except for Raisin Fest. We only close for Raisin Fest. Follow me on social media. I'm pretty much literally E.H. Howard everywhere. If you just Google me, you'll find me. Ignore the stuff from the 80s. That wasn't me. Other than that, I think that's it, and I will see you in the next video. All right, bye.